Hi, welcome to Novel's Power Insight series. My name is Saurabh Agarwal. I'm presenting today 5 new trends in healthcare for 2022 that we identified from latest policy publications. Uh, so the trend number one is related to the FDA withdrawing indications for lack of confirmatory clinical trial data. So in the last 1.5 to 2 years, we saw approximately 14 oncology indications which were withdrawn by the FDA from the market because the manufacturers had failed to complete follow-on trials. And there are several bills which are currently in the Congress which might potentially give even more authority to the FDA for withdrawing products from the market if the confirmatory trials are not completed in time. So this has a number of strategic implications, with the first one being that the bar for regulatory approval is going to be raised in the future, so there's a need to conduct more robust trials in the future. The trend number two is related to the biosimilar pricing, which kind of showed the complexity of US list price and rebate dynamics. So early this year, the biosimilar insulin was approved, which was marked as a major development in the field of diabetes, with several stakeholders expecting that this would lead to a significant savings for patients and for the overall healthcare system. However, when the prices were released, it showed that the biosimilar insulin was only 5% lower than the branded product. This biosimilar insulin pricing shows us the complexity of the US healthcare system, because in the diabetes space, it's reported that the rebates can be as high as 50 to 80%. So the actual net price might be significantly lower than the actual list price. The trend number three is the need to address RWE misconceptions. So there was an interesting article by the FDA in New England Journal of Medicine where they talked about two widespread misconceptions about RWE terminology. The number one being that a number of stakeholders have been presenting RWD and RWE as brand new concepts which were introduced in 2016, which is not true, because if you look back, the RWE has been used by regulatory agencies for clinical trial designs, for product approvals, and also for post approval requirements in the past several decades. And the second misconception is the dichotomy between randomized controlled trials and observational studies, where FDA wanted to make it clear that randomized controlled trials are not necessarily one type of trials. There are single-arm trials which have been used for regulatory approvals in the past. There are randomized controlled trials which have comparators which are taken from real-world settings, which, for example, the best supportive care, or it could be the physician's choice. And there are settings where FDA has allowed even hybrid controls. So that has to be kept in mind when we talk about RWE in the future. The trend number four is related to the 340B program, which, as you know, was created to help safety net hospitals to provide access to uninsured and low-income patients. So an interesting case study shows that for HIV, the branded prophylactic treatment regimens, which were approximately $1.5 to $2,000 per month, and when the generics were released, the pricing did come down significantly to less than $100 per month. However, what was surprising was that some of these hospitals were still prescribing the branded prophylactic regimen, which was many times more expensive than the generics. It shows that maybe there are perverse incentives in the 340B program. Maybe there's a need for reform. The trend number five, which is an interesting one, is related to step therapy requirements. As we know, step therapy is one of the key mechanisms by which payers use to control access and to manage access for especially for branded treatments. And this has been controversial because it does pose huge barriers for patients to access the treatment. It's complex to implement, and it in some cases leads to poor patient outcomes. However, there have been now a new trend where 29 states have passed laws which now is requiring insurers to include some exceptions in the step therapy protocols. And this could be potentially helpful for manufacturers as they are thinking about their market access, because this might be a key thing to communicate back to the patient access teams and to the PAP programs who might effectively implement some of, especially in the states where these laws have been passed. And this would play potentially a key role in the continuing debate on step therapy requirements to manage access in the United States. So those are the 5 key trends that we identified. We hope you found them useful. We'll have another update coming soon for the half year FDA approvals, and we'll be happy to share that with you too. Thank you.
We hope you or your teams will find some information useful from this presentation. If you need more information, please feel free to contact us. Thanks.